Water Density Column by Zoe, Matthew, and Addie. Our experiment was about what would happen if you put a beaker of hot water on a beaker of cold water and reverse. Our predictions. I think that when we put the blue on the top, it will mix, and with the red on the top, it will not.
I think that the red with the blue on top will rise and mix, and with red on top, a little will go to the bottom.
I think that the red will stay on the blue. So onwards with the experiment.
We begin the experiment by adding a card on top of the hot red water. This card will act as a barrier while the red is being flipped on top of the blue cold water. Now, Matthew's glove gets a little stuck between there, so it's a little bit of trial and error, but we continue on with the experiment afterwards. We pull the card out from between the red and the blue beaker, and the hot water stays on top of the cold water, showing that there is a difference in water density.
The hot water stayed above the cold water because the molecules are more active in hot water. Therefore, the cold water is more dense. This is why heat rises. This concept is reflected in the second experiment.
Now with cold on top.
We begin by adding the laminated index card between the two beakers, and then we flip the cold beaker on top of the hot water, and we prepare to remove the index card. You can see that once we remove the index card, the water immediately begins to mix, the cold water sinking to the bottom and the hot water rising to the top, creating purple. You can see that there is bubbles and waves and weird things floating in there. It looks cool.
In this experiment, we had to see the density levels of each temperature of water. We had to first put a beaker of ice cold water on a beaker of boiling hot water. Then we had to reverse it. When cold was on top, the two temperatures mixed because cold molecules are more compact than the very active hot molecules. Because cold is more compact, cold water is more dense than hot water. Then, when hot was on top, it stayed on top because heat sinks slower than cold because the molecules are all spread out.
In this experiment, we learned two very important things. Number one, don't hold your hand at where the water comes out. It comes out right where you hold it. Number two, well, don't let Addie do it.
In this experiment, we had to place a beaker of hot water on top of a beaker of cold water. First, we had to get a bucket with a beaker, and then we had to get hot water, and then we had to take.
Matthews, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your. Chicken, 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 chicken,
Wait, is this going in our video?